Can you hear me?
Hi, my name is Tyvis Powell, former Ohio State Buckeye and national champion DB. Welcome to the Buckeye Cast. These guys was born and bred in the Buckeye State, and they like to talk Buckeye football and drink bourbon. Subscribe to the show. Now pour up a drink and pull up a stool. Here's your host, Joe Warwick. Get him, Joe.
All right, what is up, everybody? Welcome back. I know it's been like a month or so, whatever, but we are still enjoying the glory of the Buckeye National Championship victory, obviously. Tonight, we're really just talking about the coaching changes, getting you kind of up to date, giving you our 2 cents on these guys, some promotions within the staff of existing dudes, some new dudes coming in. Some popular, some not so popular, I would say, to put it lightly. But I got Jeff and Shawn with me. We'll see if Jeff's audio is working. And same for Shawn, honestly. Part of the course here. Anyway, I do need to point something out, and I actually have a little video for us. This is our 10th year doing the Buckeye Cast, the Sunday night show anyways. It's our 10th year around here. So many people I want to thank. Thanked them all just now. Anyway, wouldn't be here without all of you folks watching, commenting, giving us your 2 cents. I do have a question. Speaking of you people, what do you mean by you people? I have a question for the chat. So even though we're talking mostly coaches tonight, I have a question about the roster, player specific, and I'm going to drop it in the chat right now. Who is your backup quarterback for this 2025 Ohio State team? Backup quarterback.
Game 1.
Not the starter, backup. Because I think that could go a million different directions. For some reason, everybody thinks that Julian Sain is the starter automatically, just right out of the gates. I don't know. I think maybe the Ohio State beat is pumping that narrative a little too much, like they like to do. But
I don't know. I mean, is there any other option really?
well, we'll come back. We'll circle back. I want to get everybody else's input before we kind of skew their thoughts. So we will give our opinions here. I think we're going to go for a hard 60 tonight. I don't see a need to go an hour and a half on coaches, do we? I mean, I don't see it. Anyway, so we're going to go for a hard hour. That's what she said. And give it to you the way you like it. Nope, not going to say it. Not going to say it.
You already did.
I know. So, all right, let's get into it, guys. We're back. Hit up the BuckeyeCast.com. I do have some new national championship T-shirt designs that I'm trying to upload to the site. The site's giving me all kinds of headaches today, so keep an eye out there if you want a fancy new shirt to commemorate this national championship. So check it out, thebuckeyecast.com. We appreciate you, as always, visiting there. Follow us up on Instagram. We are live on Instagram tonight. I remembered to turn it on. I usually forget. So win-win for everybody. all two of you on Instagram. And then, of course, on X, we're always live on X as well. I promised my wife I wouldn't do X anymore, but it's addictive. It's an addictive substance. You guys know what I'm talking about.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. All right. Shout out when I name your drug of choice. All right. So we got the spring showcase coming up here in April. Spring ball starts here in a little less than a month, right after their spring break. So middle of March. I don't know the exact dates off the top of my head, but it doesn't matter anyways. So they'll do their 15 practices over 4, 5, 6 weeks, whatever. And then you have your spring showcase, not a game. Not the game that I died for.
Not the game.
Showcase. So maybe it'll be like the Showcase Showdown, like Price is Right style. Can we roll out Bob Barker and his big long penis microphone? What's he up to?
$5, Bob.
Showcase
501.
Showdown. I don't think can you put $5 down on the Showcase Showdown part at the end? That seems
I don't know.
for a trip to Cancun.
How about this new car? All right.
Right. So, all right, let's talk coaches here. I do have a couple video clips. We want to talk about, let's start. We'll run through all the coaching changes. I'll give you a little, we can debate back and forth, good, bad, or ugly. And we should bring back the microscopes for this particular coaching segment, because I would like to know from Jeff and Shawn and myself also, who do you have your microscope on this year from a coaching staff point of view? All right. So we'll have that for you at the end of the show, and we will circle back and talk about who we think the backup QB will be for the Buckeyes. All right, so let's get into it here. Coaching changes. Shawn, you're a big David Bowie fan, aren't you?
Not especially.
Not especially? No? Okay. Ziggy Stardust?
No.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, there's a couple songs that I can tolerate.
Okay. What are those?
Jesus.
What's that?
What are those songs you can tolerate from the David Bowie library?
I'd have to hear them. I don't even know the names of them off the top of my head, but the ones you hear on the radio every now and then. But if you're going to rip off a David Bowie album, not interested.
Okay. So you don't have his greatest hits?
I do not.
Ground Control to Major Tom. That do anything
There
for
you go. I like that one.
Space Oddity. There you go. Yeah, all right. Now we're talking. What about Changes?
That's fine. That's
Wow.
the two.
Fame. Meow. Do anything?
No. I'm more of a Led Zeppelin, Metallica type guy.
Of course you are. About Young Americans. The Young Americans. Young Americans.
What are we doing?
I'm singing songs to Shawn.
Thank you, Jeff.
All right. Let's talk coaching staff changes.
There we go.
Somebody's cackling in the background. Quarterbacks / offensive coordinator Chip Kelly is out. Enter or re-enter Brian Hartline. Wide receivers / offensive coordinator / kind of play caller. Officially the play caller.
Yep.
Not the 2023 version where he got the rug pulled out from under him. So, Ryan Day has high confidence in Hartline. He said, quote, Brian did some of his best coaching this past season. His loyalty and patience are going to pay off, and I think he's going to be the best coordinator in the country. That's pretty high praise. Those are recent comments from Ryan Day. So I think we really need to talk about this one because this seems to be the most interesting to me. How are you guys with elevating Hartline to calling plays?
Cautiously optimistic.
Okay. Sounds like a lawyer. Things a lawyer would say. This is what, his eighth year with the program. I think he might have had a year as a GA, but pretty much his 8th year.
Hartline?
Almost all of that time has been with Ryan Day calling the plays. What do you think, Jeff?
Well, I think Hartline had 1 year as a GA with Urban, and then 1 year as a position coach with Urban.
Yeah.
So since 16. I think it's a great hire. I mean, you had to keep him. You have to keep him because of his recruiting. He's being in the system as long as he has. He learned a lot from, he got the master class with Chip Kelly, more detailed with Chip and game planning and stuff. You got to let him. We got to find out. We got to find out what if he can do it. It's a natural progression. If we would lose him. If we didn't, if we don't move him up, we're gonna lose him. So it's what you had to do.
All right.
I'm really interested with this Billy Fessler. I don't know anything about him. I didn't even realize who an offensive analyst. I didn't know who we had this year. But I guess everybody praised him. Will Howard couldn't talk enough about Billy Fessler, so I'm excited to see how the quarterbacks react to him.
Right. Yeah, this staff got really young really quickly with losing Chip Kelly, elevating Hartline. Everybody except, I think, everybody is sub 40 years old except Lachlan. He's 47. He's the old guy in the group.
Wow.
He's probably in the best shape. And then Ryan Day is 44, I want to say, 45, somewhere in that ballpark.
Yeah, 45, I think. And every offensive staff is 38 or younger on the offensive side.
Yeah, Fessler's in his 20s. I think he's a 29-year-old. But yeah, and then Keenan Bailey, he's in his early 30s, maybe. Then,
and the new guy,
Tyler Bowen, the new guy, he's 35. So yeah, super young there. So, do you guys have a problem with Hartline? I mean, I know you're cautiously optimistic. I'm sure that represents all of our opinions, Shawn, but the guy's never done it before.
He's always been a receiver. I just hope that he learned from Chip Kelly and doesn't just turn this into the air attack. I hope it's well balanced. And I don't want to see 65% passes. You want to go 50, 55? Okay. But we're in the Big Ten. We need to run the ball. And I'm pretty sure Hartline knows that. But we'll see. And I think with this young staff, that you're with a bunch of new players, starters at key positions, you're going to see some growing pains. Not just among Hartline, but among the rest of the staff, that they're all under 40.
Yeah. Jeff?
We got a new run game coordinator. Bowen's taking over the run game coordinating as the line. So, having the most experienced guy, who's predominantly from the passing game, I think Ryan Day's still gonna have. He's still gonna be over top of that room. They're not gonna. They're gonna play. They're gonna game plan to be very balanced. But like a game like I'm confident. I'm confident that Hartline can do it. It was a necessity that we promoted him. But you gotta have confidence. If he flounders here, then it's just not a position. It's not a job for him because he's been here 8 years. He knows the offense. He knows Ryan Day's offense as well as Ryan does, almost. You would think. So,
yeah.
I think they're gonna make sure that the game planning is gonna be more of a collective. With the running with Bowen, everybody putting their 2 cents in.
Yeah, Hartline is not just going rogue here with the playbook and calling whatever willy-nilly.
Well, the one other concern that I have is
verts.
Yeah.
With all this extra responsibility, is this going to affect recruiting? I mean, Hartline's been the best recruiter in the country for the past 5 years, essentially.
That's a legit point, I think.
With all this extra focus being an OC, does that fall off a bit?
Yeah,
I
that's a
think
legit point. I think you're going to see Devin Jordan, his assistant. I mean, we don't have GAs anymore because you can have unlimited coaches on the field coaching players, so that's not an issue anymore. And they don't have to be GAs; these can just be called assistants or analysts. So Devin Jordan, former teammate of Brian Hartline for the Buckeyes under Tress, so he's got to elevate in his impact he has on the wide receiver room specifically. And then where does Hartline call plays from? Right? He can't have much of an impact on the receivers during a game if he's up in the booth.
that was going to be my point.
He should be, right?
Yeah, I think that was my point. That was going to be my point too. That each series, coaching those receivers and making sure they're on point with their checks and knowing what's going on. That'll suffer some. But you're right. He's going to have to lean on his number two to be his his eyes and ears on the field, on the sideline. So,
Well, you think he's going to be in the booth, Jeff?
I think he will be. I think he needs to be though to concentrate on his job of play calling and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I think you need to be not hearing 85 guys on the sidelines and having all that going on. I think offensive coordinators should be in the booth because they need to see, be able to see that all 22 look, like they see every play with that.
That scares me a bit because Brian Hartline's never been in the booth.
True.
I think it takes a certain mind and a certain skill set, or at least a certain experience to be effective in the booth.
Right, and I think they're going to do a lot of that. I mean, they're going to through the spring and stuff. They're going to have him probably up in an elevated area, like maybe even on a lift or something above the field, radioing that play down to the quarterbacks to simulate being up in the press box. So I mean, yeah, I just think the offense. I think he needs to be, but I mean, I don't know. The play caller needs to be I think the play caller needs to have that aerial view.
I don't know. Our friends at Michigan won a natty with both their coordinators on the field.
Well, they cheated too. So I mean, we
true.
could cheat. We could cheat and keep everybody on sidelines, I guess. But
I mean, I'm not against it. We'll see how it goes. But I'd almost rather. I mean, I feel like Brian Hartline brings a lot of juice to the players, pumps up these guys, keeps their head in the game, and is really powerful when he's in their face.
Yeah, I agree.
But
100%.
he can't do that when the offense has the ball. So half the game, he's out of commission. Like, you cannot bother him unless it's a timeout.
Yes, I would like him to be on the sideline more just because of what he does bring, like you said, Shawn. I just think, but calling plays, I think you have to be up there. Now he's gonna be on the phone a lot when the defense is on the field, talking with his guys. I'm sure, like the quarterback and his receivers. There's gonna be a lot of that.
They'll have people up in the booth as his eyes if he were to stay on the sideline. So it's not impossible, like you just said. But it does feel like a chaotic area, like a freaking war zone during a game to try and concentrate, block out the noise, and focus. That's more the problem. And again, when you're going to have maybe Keenan Bailey goes up in the booth if Hartline stays on the sidelines, but you need a one of the important offensive coaches that knows what the fuck they're doing, not a bunch of GAs or analysts, lower level guys up there telling you what just happened. You need somebody that has the entire game plan of the offense in mind to say, look, this is what we just saw. This is, what we're doing and going forward. So it's going to be an adjustment, and it sucks that we start off with Texas. It's not a real easy way to like an old man ease into a hot bath. We don't have that. So we'll see how it goes. So, all right, let's talk. We touched on Billy Fessler, quarterback's coach now. So he joined the Buckeyes last year as an offensive analyst. He worked just with the quarterbacks. He previously worked with quarterbacks at Akron in 2022 and 2023, so working under Joe Moorhead, which, as I am known around the 419, my nickname anyway.
You were really good at it.
That's why he doesn't go back anymore, Shawn.
You would know, wouldn't you? He was also the Akron OC in 2023, so whatever that gets you, I don't know. Is that just like one level above Division I high school ball? Probably. So we'll see about Fessler. I'm sure a lot of his work is going to be done on the recruiting trail, because Ryan Day really has his, thumb on the QB room. So I don't see Fessler having a major impact other than helping recruit and working with guys on the field when Ryan Day is busy with other shit, right? Kind of like Corey Dennis. I mean, but this guy's younger, much younger. Then you got running backs coach Carlos Loughlin still there. No change to his title. Keenan Bailey was given the co-offensive coordinator tag. I assume this is just to give him a little pay bump and keep other teams from coming after him. Teams were, but keep him from, taking other jobs. He's kind of a wanted man in the coaching community. He's really risen quickly.
Well, if you got a co-OC, why not have him in the box?
Well, it's just a title for pay increase. It's not to actually call plays or something. He might help out with the offense during the week, but he's not going to have an integral part on game day of major input. It's really just for the pay, the title bump.
Similar to. Oh, sorry, Joe. Go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead. I was just moving on. O-line, Justin Fry is out, we know. Tyler Bowen is in as offensive line coach, and technically he is run game coordinator as well. Again, another way they can give the guy a little bump in pay. He's a former O-lineman from Maryland. He also coached them in 2017, so basically went right out of college right into coaching at Maryland. Tight ends coach at Penn State from 2018 to 2020. Also Penn State's co-offensive coordinator in 2020. He was on Urban Meyer's well-renowned Jacksonville Jaguars staff. He was tight ends coach in 2021. Impressive. Not really. He's a good recruiter, though. I'll say that. So change of pace here. Our last two O-line coaches, maybe last three, not so good at the road and getting out there and pounding the pavement. Right now, already for this 2026 class coming up, he has 29 offers out to those O-linemen. Last year, Justin Fry only offered for the entire year 31 in this 2025 class. So we're already doing well there, and more offers are going to go out. This is only freaking February. You haven't even had camps yet. So expect many more to go out. So casting a wider net, we always said that was the issue, right? With the offers, Justin Fry was kind of very selective, and it came back to bite us many times, As far as his recruiting region, going from Maryland, he was at Vatech before this, so he's DMV focused, but he's from Georgia. So maybe a little help down there in the South with some O-linemen. Those are always good to have out of Georgia. Plenty of good ones there. So what do you guys think about this change in complete change in style? Really, this is like a fucking 180, right? Jeff?
I know the guy. He comes highly respected and highly regarded. I know, and from everybody that's talked about, anybody that's in with the inside knowledge of offensive line coaches and stuff like that. Everybody talks about it, raves about him, right? Has experience being a coordinator, like you said. young, energetic. Is he responsible for all 29 of those offers already, or did some of those go out with Fry during the season while Fry was recruiting, or did he just take over everybody that Fry had reached out to and everybody he had been recruiting
He
at
has
his
put
last
out
stop?
a bunch of new offers on his own since he took over, like a week ago or something.
And I
He's
would
piling on.
I would
Yeah,
assume
so
that he
it's
was already
partial
recruiting guys
both.
too. He was already recruiting guys too,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
From his
So
other.
right, he had offered guys for Vatek, so now he's reoffering with a different logo on the letterhead.
That's got to be tough too. Like, you remember I told you how you should be a Hokie. I really think you should be a Buckeye though.
Yeah,
The,
exactly.
you know what I mean? Like that's gotta be tough. But so I mean, you can't expect him to just land, or maybe he can connect with a guy like that was it David last year, David Sanderson, the number one lineman. Um, they end up
Yeah,
going
David
to
Sanders Jr. Yeah,
Sanders,
he's
yeah.
going to Tennessee.
Where it seemed like we were close. It seemed like he was interested. It
Very
wasn't just for
much.
show. Maybe he has a more of a connection or better personality to match somebody like that guy that Fry couldn't. But
Yeah.
Fry was a little more selective, and then we ended up not, put all your eggs in one basket. And we don't get that guy. This guy
Yeah.
looks like he's casting, and we end up with 3 stars from Ohio to fill in the roster.
Right.
And maybe we get a little more of, maybe we get a bunch of 4 stars instead of
Yeah.
1 5-star and a bunch of 3s.
Yeah. Sean, this
Yeah.
guy, I'm looking at his all-time recruits here. I mean, in a very short time period, he's brought in a ton of 4 stars to Penn State. Remember Rasheed Walker, the tackle? He was a 4-star, a high 4-star, 9'6", 7'6". He brought in Brenton Strange, the tight end. He also brought in Tyler Warren to Penn State. So yeah, he was only a 3-star actually coming out of high school. But Sean, what do you think about kind of the young blood approach and going more of a stronger recruiter here?
Well, I don't even know about the recruiting anymore. It's more how much you're going to pay these kids. All the best kids are going to get offered from all the best programs. Now, being young, he might be able to relate and, hey, I'd like to go play for this guy, but Alabama's offering me 200 grand more, so I really like you, but I'm going to go somewhere else. So I don't know where recruiting's going. This stuff's changing so quick, and the money's getting so outrageous.
Yeah.
We'll see. That being said, just when Fry finally puts something together, I've been on his ass for years. He leaves, and now I got this guy. So I'm not against it. That O-line finished the season obviously amazing last year with patchwork. We'll see what this guy can do. Like I said, I don't think he's going to be a worse coach than Fry. Maybe he can recruit better. Maybe he vibes with these kids a little better.
Yeah.
But to me, it's the best kids is going to come down to money. The 3-star kids, yeah, you can get those all day at Ohio State.
Right, and that's kind of, to your point, I would say what Ohio State has been doing in the portal. They've actually had to go get, especially tackles, in the portal, right?
Yeah.
Because they haven't recruited them very well.
Yeah, and you can't wait. The development of the offensive linemen has taken a couple of years, to get these guys, ready. Whereas you can just go out and find a ready-made guy who's already got 15, 20 starts under his belt. So there's more. The transfer portal offensive lineman is going to be I think the biggest position moving all the time, just because you recruit a couple guys, but you need guys to go ready now, like already developed. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
Yeah,
we're
there's going to
gonna
be a stud at Rutgers, that's a junior, and it's like, hey, we're going to pay you. Come over here and compete for a natty.
And you
Yeah.
actually you spend your money more efficiently and more wisely, I would say, by investing in a guy that's already been in a college program. He's somewhat developed, 1, 2, 3 years in a college system. Then you bring him in, like what's his face from San Diego State, Josh Simmons.
Simmons, yeah.
As soon as these guys fucking leave,
It can get weird at that position though, because that's a unit that really needs to work together, play together.
unit.
They kind of take on hey, we're a badass group, and if you bring in a guy that might be good somewhere, but is he a fit?
Right. Exactly. It has to be. That's the one thing Ohio State doesn't go after is they don't reach in the portal for maybes and what could be's. We have to take a little break here. I just saw this on Twitter, so I need to share it with everybody. If somebody either watching at home or a co-host does not get this movie quote, then I'm going to be sorely disappointed, and the photo should help.
I'm driving, I can't see.
I'll read it to you. There are 3 rules I live by. Never get less than 12 hours sleep. Never play cards with a guy with the same first name as a city. And never get involved with a woman with a tattoo of a dagger on her body. Stick to that, and everything else is cream cheese.
With chomping gum.
Any
I know I've heard that
in
before,
the
but I don't know what
comments.
movie.
Dead giveaway.
Anybody.
Oh,
You won't win
yeah.
nothing
I
but
know it,
my
Joe. I'll leave
respect
it.
And honor.
What is it?
The picture does it, guarantees it.
Right.
But
I just
the tattoo, the woman with the tattoo of a dagger, I remembered it instantly.
Go ahead, Jeff.
No, I don't want to say it. So Shawn, you're gonna have to, when you get a chance, look at your look at our text. Look at your text messages.
No, go ahead, say it.
No, I thought, Joe, do you want me to ruin it?
Yeah, go ahead. I mean, nobody's guessed it in the comments yet, so.
The high school basketball coach in Teen Wolf.
Yeah.
You remember the coach, Shawn? He was always just chewing gum, like chomping gum, like kind of like Pete Carroll. Anyways,
Really, Teen Wolf? You
Yeah.
pulled
Teen
out
Wolf.
a Teen Wolf on me?
Yeah. Believe that shit?
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's been a fuck. I was a teen the last time I watched it.
Oh, well, you're missing out. You should watch it with your teens.
I only got one teen left.
Well, passed you by. Here's our guy, Tyler Bowen, by the way. I'm going to throw his mug up on screen so you guys get used to seeing it. I didn't really feel the need to pull any clips of him talking. He's got a kind of a thick southern accent. I get enough of that in my life. Anyway, no offense. That was a shot at my wife. She's not listening.
Oh.
All right. So in addition to our guy Tyler here, the Buckeyes hired 3 analysts, and I see these guys being direct support pieces for Tyler Bowen, who has not coached offensive line in a few years. He's been coaching tight ends, like I mentioned, and he's been offensive coordinator there at Va-Tech most recently. So they brought in a Marcus Johnson. He's a former offensive line coach at Purdue. Charlie Dickey, does he wear them is my question. Offensive line coach at Oklahoma State. And then Wendy, hot and juicy redhead, Laurent, associate head coach and tight ends coach at Dartmouth. So these guys are going to be working as analysts right under Tyler Bowen. So the key is just to make sure everybody's on the same page as you're coaching guys up, teaching technique. So all these 3 guys are going to be very important to helping this O-line get right. All right. Moving along. All right, this is the headliner that everybody's talking about. Jim Knowles is out at defensive coordinator. Matt Patricia is in. He's been in the NFL for 20 years. I do have some video clips I wanted to play quickly for you. Let's see. This one's a minute. This is from the Julian Edelman podcast. Why does this guy have a show? Don't ask me. But
That's actually a good podcast. It's actually good, Joe. It's pretty good.
Yeah. Why does he act like he's high the whole time? Is he really? Or anyway, he went to Kent State, so he must be a total loser.
What's the art of the DC? How do you? What's your starting point of when you're
art of
preparing
the
for a team?
DC.
Are you looking at players, plays, or is it
Should
changed situationally for each team? Like, how do you construct what you're going to plan for that week? Because you're a game plan coach. It changes every week. How do you break that in? What's the art of DC?
Yeah. It was interesting. So being in New England, obviously our fundamental background defensive philosophy, right, comes from the Giants, right? 1980s, Bill at the Giants, those great defenses there. And then you got to really understand. So I had two playbooks, right? We had our playbook, and then I had the Bible, right? I called it the Bible because that was everything. Like that I was always keeping track of the history of where did all this stuff come from, because I figured if you could understand where it came from, then we would know when to install it or when to use it. So
who made the Bible?
So I did, just copy. Football.
So does that make you a prophet?
Definitely. I mean,
Bill
I am.
Jesus?
I am. I mean, I was named. I am Matthew. Right? So, okay.
Matthew's one of the prophets.
Get out of here. So 80s, right? And then you have the influence of our defense from Saban when Bill and Nick get together at Cleveland. And how it morphs from cover 2 to cover 3, little bit of cover 5, which was our 2-man, Nick with cover 1, cover 4. And then, so as we get to New England.
Nick loves man.
Loves it, right? Yeah. So as we get to New England.
What's the art of the DC? How do you, what's your start?
So a little bit of
defensively, our mentality in general was how do we fit
the
the defensive structure to. So again, like people are all like, "Oh, you're a base cover 2 coach," and I'm like, "Well, I was when we needed to be." Yeah. But like you saw our playbook, like we had every coverage known to man in that thing, and then some we made up. So
where he talks about
or fronts and variations
being multiple and changing.
With that mentality, the defense, that was just our mentality every week. What do we have to do? What do we have to play in order to win this game? Because that's all that really mattered. It was like, it doesn't matter what we do. How do we just win this game? Complementary football with the offense, with special teams, with defense, and who are the players we have to do that? And so it was always evolving, always changing. But when you game plan an offense, for me, started with the quarterback. How are we going to make this guy, how are we going to play the game within the game against this guy? Yeah. And then I went to the offensive line. You obviously identify who are the great players, who are the go-to guys you got to stop, who's the ball going to in what situations, make sure you got those guys handled, make sure you got them covered. But game planning affecting the quarterback was through the offensive line. How do we get pressure in his face? Is he going to step up? Is he going to bail? Is he going to move? Do we need to keep him in the pocket? Do we want him out of the pocket? Is he a scrambler? Does he extend? All of those, you got to answer all of those questions, as you go through the game plan process. And then, you got run game, you got all of that in there. What packages you're going to play? How are you going to call the game? So a lot of games I would have, I had different call sheets. So I had our main call sheet that everybody had, and then I would have adjustment call sheets, and I'd either have them or, people ask me all the time. So I always had a notebook in, always wore a hoodie, always had pockets.
And number 2 pencil. You got one?
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, good Ticonderoga right there. Yeah, of course, right? Yeah. But I always had notebooks with paper, and I would rewrite different scripts, different series coming up. Like we come to the side, I'm like, hey, Jules, next third down call is going to be this. Next first down is going to be called. Be ready to go in on second down and long. Second and short, we're going to stay base. And I would write all of those out so that everybody had that during the game.
So I thought that was pretty interesting. This might not be earth-shattering news for defensive coordinators across the country, but I think it's good for the fans to hear that it starts with who are your personnel, right? When you're looking at it on the defensive side of the ball, who do you have, all right? And then you start to game plan from there, okay? Like he said, you start number 1 with the quarterback. Then you obviously identify their great players. Then you look at the O-line. Where can you attack them? So. And again, the first clip talked about how they will change the game plan according to the opponent. They don't just run out the same 4-2-5 or the same 4-3 every week, like the old days. This is game plan specific, being able to adjust your game plan accordingly week to week. Shawn, you got a take? Jeff will come to you after that.
Yeah, I don't get that thrilled with coach interviews. Patricia was a head coach up here in Detroit. He's well seasoned at talking and saying nothing. I don't think anything he said is earth shattering that any D coordinator wouldn't say. So to me, prove it. I'm not impressed with empty words.
Well,
Okay. Well, I think he kind of did at New England, did he not? 3 Super Bowl rings? Is that what he has? 2 or 3? Calling
3.
defenses.
And he's been a pariah nowhere for the last 8 years. What's he done?
Is like Detroit? That is kind of nowhere. Good point.
The coach after him seems to be doing all right.
How were the other coaches prior to Patricia in Detroit?
Better than Patricia. And also shitty.
Okay. Jeff.
Yeah,
Thoughts?
well, I think okay. We can't say that his words are empty right now because he hasn't disproved them. Now,
Well,
if
what
he
do you
just
say
if he
that's different that someone else wouldn't
no
say?
no nothing, Sean, nothing. I'm not arguing it completely, but we can't just say words are hollow. He doesn't say what he means. He doesn't do what he says. He hasn't done anything yet. Now, you're right. I think I do like the fact that you move your defense. If you have guys that are flexible and can play multiple positions, you tailor your defense each week to attack the scheme of the offense, because the offenses don't really change each week. They are. So I do like the fact, because he has the team too, with the talent and the multiple positions that people can play, and multiple people we have that are at a starter's level. He can do what he's wanting to do as far as tailoring game plans to the offensive team we're playing. He also said in an interview, because I've watched that before, about the lessons he's learned interpersonally, communicating with players and having those relationships. Now, whether he's gotten any better at it or not, who knows? I mean, these are 18 to 22-year-olds, not grown men. So it's that's going to be a learning curve, I think. But he's got a bunch of young guys on the staff that are kind of, I'm sure it's going to help him a lot. So I mean, he's a great mind as far as a football mind. You can't get much better. So he's learned under one of the greatest defensive coaches of all time. He must have been the answer. I mean, I gotta keep Ryan Day's. I gotta have confidence that Ryan Day's made the right decision. He's been pretty good on most of his assistants.
Yeah, I don't think it's a bad hire at all. I mean, with his experience, but I'm more of a wait and see. I'm not like, oh my gosh, we got fucking Matt Patricia. We are going to be so fucking good on defense. I'm not there yet. Show me.
Well, I mean, I was like that with Knowles. I was like, well, he's respected, and he came from Oklahoma State, where they were, they had good defenses, but his talent kept him from getting too great, or too high. But I mean, Knowles proved it. So I'll keep the same way with Patricia. I mean, I expect him to have great schemes. We'll see.
I would say my excitement level when we got Knowles is higher than what it is right now.
So a 2 out of 10 versus now is a 1 out of 10.
Me?
Okay.
The pessimist.
Yeah. Right. So yeah, I'm not going to go to bat for this guy. I don't care about this guy as a person or a coach. I don't know. Only that when I used to watch NFL football, he was their DC, and they were rattling off Super Bowls occasionally. So
he has the potential to be really good. I think it's just will it translate.
Right. That's the key. Going backwards to college.
Yeah, one of the key guys. All of our position coaches have stayed, so there's continuity there. With Laurinaitis and Walton and Larry Johnson, like they're all gonna have. So the players are gonna be on the same page with their position coaches. I think that's gonna be big.
You're right. That's true.
Because all of them guys, he's gonna take all of their feedback as well. Guerreri, all of them, with knowing the defense, knowing what played. he's gonna see what works. He's gonna see what doesn't work. He's like, oh, this guy can do this. This guy can do this. This guy can't do this. He's gonna see all that, but he's gonna be amazed. Like, holy shit, I got a bunch of guys that can do a lot of things.
Yeah, in that interview, a lot of people I know have already seen it. If you watch the whole 3 hours, good for you. You're a better person than I.
He's not talking for 3 hours. But.
Well, it was an interview for 3 hours, but yeah, Julian Edelman likes to talk a lot. Anyway, but he did talk about player-specific things, like when they brought in Aqib Talib. That guy took out the number one receiver for the other team, and they were able to game plan around that. Who else?
Yeah.
Who was the safety? Patrick Chung. With his ability to cover tight ends. So they were able to take the strengths that they had with their talent and their players, and then game plan accordingly around that. So like they basically said, okay, we got a guy that can take out their tight end, so we don't have to worry about that guy. Now we can game plan on everybody else. So yeah, I'm just popping up some comments. We got a few comments in here.
How good is he at sealing the deal as a position coach? If Walton's in some corners, house, meets with parents and stuff, and the guy's feeling good, and then you bring in the DC to meet with him. Now, does Patricia, go back to his relationships and talking to the kids? How's he going to be talking with the kids' parents and in the living room, or at kids' high school? Talking. How is that going to go? That's what we really don't know, because it's not even. It didn't even count that he's actually worked in college before, because it was nothing like what it is now.
Right.
So
plus, this guy's not a young guy. He's 50 years old.
Easy. That's not that old.
Well, I hate to bring reality into the show, but sometimes you have to.
He's been around
the NFL for 20 years.
Walking in with 3 Super Bowl rings, Coach Belichick. Oh yeah, Bill's a great guy. Yeah, Bill taught me this. And that's some stories that. Oh, hold on. We got 5-alarm fire here. Can you hear the sirens?
No.
I just think the respect. I mean, he's going to get people's attention just because of the pedigree he has. Now it's going to be up to him to not ruin what Laurinaitis and Walton and Larry Johnson do. In the relationships with these kids. So that's going to be the biggest thing for me, I think.
That's the other thing. He doesn't have to recruit. Jim Knowles didn't recruit shit. He actually made matters worse in some cases. Tackett Curtis, see him. Anyway, but regardless, Patricia doesn't have to. He just has to take the talent that everybody is pooling around that defensive group and scheme it up. Who are we playing this first game? Texas. Scheme it up. Use all of our studs, Caleb Downs, everybody, the corners, all that shit, and scheme it up. All you have to do is move the chess pieces around, And I'm not worried about recruiting with Patricia.
I just meant if he's going to be just that building a relationship, they might have Walton might have set something up really nice, dude's feeling real confident, and you just want Patricia to just come in and just give him the wrong, make it, like you said with Knowles, like kind of go backwards.
If you're Matt Patricia, you just walk in with your rings on and don't say a fucking word. It might be best case scenario.
Yeah, I mean, all he has to say is we have the greatest position coaches in the nation for defense. Walton, LJ, Lernas, Guerrero. They're going to coach you up. We're going to come up with a scheme that's going to accentuate you this way. Yeah, so most of his recruiting, you're right, Joe, will be on visits where he's got them in the whiteboard and showing them stuff on film. But
it's rare that DC is going to come in there as the lead recruiter ever. So he's going to be, if anything, coming in there multiple visits later, or maybe just meeting with the kid on campus when he comes for an official. So not a big deal. So D-line, Larry Johnson, I believe he has 1 year remaining on his contract. So is this the last year?
It has to be, right?
Question mark, he says.
Now Larry's old. 50 ain't old. Larry's old.
All right. What is what is 71? Is 71 the new 51?
No, 71's the new 65.
Oh, somebody needs to get me the scale because I keep hearing different numbers. What's 52?
45.
Really? I was hoping for like 40. Sure, I can't talk you into that. All right. All right. So maybe this is Larry's last year. I can't imagine everybody knowing 1 year is left on his contract. That's going to be great for recruiting. Definitely not. So we'll see what happens there. He's not going anywhere this year. They would have announced it. It has to be like, we can't go into spring ball again and start juggling coaches again 2 years in a row. Linebackers, Laurinaitis, obviously, he's fine. Then you got cornerbacks and now co-defensive coordinator Tim Walton. Obviously, again, pay bump. So you can pay a little bit more, keep him around.
Well deserved. Well deserved.
Little known fact, he actually coached with Matt Patricia when Patricia was a GA at Syracuse, one of Tim Walton's early jobs in college football decades ago. And then you got Jeff's guy, Matt. We're going to call him Matt G. So
Matty G.
Jeff doesn't get offended with Guerreri. Safeties and passing game coordinator. So he got a little title bump there with the passing game coordination. And like Ryan Day said at the big celebration thing at the shoe, one of the rising stars in college football. So, Matty G. You got Matty P and Matty G on this defensive staff.
That's a good staff. That's solid as fuck. Hopefully LJ and Patricia see a little more eye to eye than Knowles did with LJ.
I don't know. It seemed to work out okay.
Yeah, but you just said that there's been like scuttlebutt, I guess would be good, of just that there was a knocking of heads with those two. Yes, they're all professional, very professional, and we never saw anything like on TV or on camera of any issues, but they just just the tension that they just wanted to have two different philosophies on what the DM should be doing. I think LJ won out in that. And
I think it was more of a low-key difference of opinion, not a
not tension,
We had the best defense and a top 10 defense with those two. I don't give a fuck if they hate each other. I don't care if they don't agree with each other. Whatever they did, it worked.
I think more of the issue was between Ryan Day and Jim Knowles, especially after that first Oregon game.
Yeah, because they say Day came in and kind of dictated to Knowles. Yeah, but that's what really worked.
I feel like,
but that's what really worked.
I don't want a bunch of yes men.
Right, challenge the players. I saw an interview with Denzel Burke, and when Ryan Day came in after that Oregon game, they simplified everything. They simplified the calls. Denzel said that the calls that were coming in didn't match, like the coverage and the pass rush play calls per play did not match. They didn't go together. And then he also said that the calls were coming in late. Remember, we saw guys, the D linemen were still, one knee down, not even lined up when Oregon's snapping the ball multiple times.
It's infuriating, yes.
And that's part of the simplification that Ryan Day brought up and went into the room with, and he's like, you got to get this fucking shit in quicker, and it has to be simple so that the players can communicate it within their group, on the field. So
and when you have the talent we have,
Knowles doesn't like that, then tough shit. Then you're super sensitive biatch.
And with that, especially with that defense, I mean, you got to applaud Ryan Day for doing that, because that's exactly what that defense needed. The talent they had was so ridiculous. Just let them just play football, right? Cover all your bases.
That's the concern with Patricia, right? He's a pro guy, and he's probably going to have to make it a little simpler. He's got a talent advantage over almost everybody's playing.
Yep.
Keep it simple. Let them play fast.
Yep. Yeah, in the regular season, you really only need to out-scheme one or two teams. this particular year with Texas on the schedule, you got them. I don't think we have Oregon. Them and Penn State, and maybe the Cheaters. Maybe 3 games you need to out-scheme the other offensive coordinator. That's it. Until you get to the playoffs, obviously.
And in those games, it comes down to a few plays. It's only a few plays, really.
Right.
We got to be. I mean, we got to trust Ryan Day that he knows bringing this particular pro guy in was the right move. I mean, he hasn't.
Well,
he's earned that leeway.
He always wants these coordinators with ex-head coaching experience. Even Chip Kelly on the offensive side of the ball. Bill O'Brien, who was here for a cup of coffee last year. Jim Knowles, now Matt Patricia. These guys all have head coaching experience, whether it's college or NFL or both. That's important to him because he wants somebody that's going to take full responsibility for their side of the ball. So, all right, let's circle back and give our quick little answer to the question for the chat. Who is Ohio State's backup quarterback for the 2025 season? Jeff, let's start with you.
Tell me about game one. So game one when against Texas, who's going to be the starting quarterback or the backup? Who's going to be the backup when we start at Texas? Yep. I believe that Lincoln Keenholz is going to be number 2.
Okay, so he does not transfer after spring ball. You're saying?
Oh, yeah.
There's another portal window opening up.
I think honestly, I think I'm going to go ahead and hedge and just say, if he was leaving, he would have left already. I think. Okay. I don't think from now till spring ball, nothing. I don't think it changes.
Shenry, what do you think?
Game 1 against Texas, Shawn. Who's the backup?
Yeah, you got to go with Keenholz. That's the way Ryan Day has rolled. It's, last year it wasn't saying as the backup, even though the talent level was there. This year I don't think it'll be Tavian, at least at the start. I think it will be a Keenholz or a transfer, junior, senior transfer that comes in that could carry the water should you need.
I'm going TSC, Tractor Supply Company. No, we've called him TSC for years. Tavian St. Clair is your backup because I believe Lincoln Keenholz, who has said during bowl season there when they were interviewing the players a few times, he said he's going to stick it out through spring ball, then make a decision. So.
I didn't. I guess I didn't hear. Not hearing that. That kind of changes my mind a little bit.
So. If there is no decision by Ryan Day, which I would expect there won't be because he's never named a starter after spring ball.
No.
He'll say, still too close. We can't make a decision. We're going to take it into fall camp.
What do you think Keenholz is basing his decision off of? Like, you think Keenholz, in his mind, thinks that he's in line to be the starter at Ohio State? The guy's never been mentioned his whole career there.
I think he wants to battle for it.
I think he's shooting for the backup spot.
Well, there's a reason Devin Brown left. Don't you think?
Yes.
He might have seen what was behind him.
He knew he wanted to go where he was guaranteed to play.
Yeah, exactly. He didn't want to sit another year and waste his clock. I get that. So he went to Cal. All right.
Yeah.
You will start. But
and the thing is about Keenholz, go ahead, Joe.
He didn't want to be in another competition where he might lose, is my thought.
He was going to lose to Sand. Everyone knows that.
Okay. And what about Keenholz? Aren't you saying the same thing about him? Keenholz isn't even.
I think Keenholz knows he's the backup.
Okay.
So under that thinking, Shawn, do you believe that Keenholz is going to stay one more year of tutoring and development, and then leave to be the 1-year starter and go pro? Is that, you think, this process? Like he's saying, I need one more year of the best quarterback coaching, and then I think
the opportunity at Ohio State to be the backup is huge. It's shown a lot of years, not the last couple, frankly, but we've needed the backup. And you get in there, and who's to say? We've got a bunch of new players. Sayin is young. Something happens. There's a fair chance that Keenholz or the backup, whoever that is going to get some serious playing time. And so
His clock is
the
ticking, though.
opportunity at Ohio State backup for when you still have some eligibility, Brown had to go. He's running out of he's out of time. He's got to go do it. So
got 1 year left.
Yeah, I think Keenholz stays and sees where it's at from here.
Well, Keenholz is going into his third year.
Now, if someone's going to throw Keenholz a bunch of money, then he'll leave. I haven't seen anything that Keenholz has done that says, "Hey, I want to throw this guy a bunch of money." He wasn't better than Brown. He never got. I mean, I never even heard him talk about Keenholz. When we were talking last year, go rewind the tape. When we were talking about backups, it was our guy Howard, and then Brown, and then Sayin. We didn't mention Keenholz ever.
Right. Be kind. Rewind.
I think Keenholz knows way more than we do as far as where he stands and what's been said behind, in private in the quarterback room. If I'm sure Keenholz has been told, and I'm sure Ryan Day, and he has to, he would have to do this. It's got to be an open competition because he's not. I don't think he's told. I don't think he's promised Julian Sayin the starting job. I think they're all been told, yes, one of you has got to win the job. Now, if Keenholz were to play better than Sayin and have a better spring, and then on the team, so like as everybody's the coach, all the coaches and the team is all seeing, Keenholz is dead even with Sayin, then he's going to stay because
in blowouts who got in last year, Keenholz or Sayin?
Sayin.
Yeah, Sayin did.
That's right.
He played in the playoffs.
Yep.
And I think it is open, but Keenholz has been there. He sees the arm talent. Keenholz is going to try and compete for that one spot and knows he's probably not going to get it.
Right. That's why I go back to the question: who is the backup quarterback?
So,
in
Joe, you're
Keenholz. No, he's gone.
You're projecting Keenholz leaves.
Gonzo.
Yeah,
I don't.
Yeah. Somewhere closer to home, maybe Iowa.
I'm with Jeff. I think he would have left already.
Okay.
But you never know. Like these kids still are 18, 19, 20. That from year to year, they can make huge leaps. So I'm just saying if Keenholz has made a huge leap from his first year to the second year, he did. So if he makes that equal leap from second to third, he might be able to challenge Julian Sayin. He's got the talent to.
But missing spring ball for another team, Keenholz has nothing on the field, nothing that he's done. He is not going to go somewhere missing spring ball and walk in and be a starter. Not at a decent program. No way. I mean, McCord had to go to freaking Syracuse. I mean, if you want to send him to Mount Union, he'd probably start over there.
Exactly. I don't think he goes to an equal level school as Ohio State. That's not possible.
Maybe something like a North Dakota State or South Dakota State, which are dominant in the 1AA.
And he is from there. Yes, that maybe.
I think a shitty Big Ten team like Iowa would definitely take him.
But to what? To be the backup? You think he's going to walk in, going to spring and start? I don't.
All right.
That's a risk.
From what I can tell, Iowa's offense isn't that complicated.
or the competition is not. I mean,
there isn't any. Yes.
Right. But back to us. I don't want to jump back to our spring showcase, but we're not going to have the coach in Nebraska. Who's that? What's his name?
Matt Rule.
Matt Rule. He had said it out loud. He said that he doesn't want to showcase his players for other schools to come in and pick from. As far as so. I mean, that's one. Who knows what he really meant when he was saying it, but that's
everybody
how it came
knows who's good and who's not on your fucking team, dude.
Well, that's the thing.
They have recruiting videos.
Yeah, but does Keenholz's tape? If he were to play, 3 series in that spring game, would that be the tape that a school would need to say, this guy, he won't start at Ohio State, but we could use him here. Let's make a big offer. I don't know.
Keenholz is going to put some stuff on tape and blowouts at Ohio State, even if Sayin does stay upright the whole year. and then he's going to get offers and money to go play somewhere else the next year. And to me, that's the best
That's how I see it. I
business
think, you know,
move for him.
he says what I say this year. He says what I say this year, and then he goes somewhere for his senior year to showcase. You know what I mean? I think that's right. It's kind of like Devin Brown, kind of like just like Devin Brown did.
Yep.
All right.
I think.
Well,
but I wouldn't be
sounds good,
surprised,
boys.
Joe. You're right. I wouldn't be surprised if you're right, Joe. If he bounced, knowing he doesn't have a shot in the fall of getting the job, but that's just tough, man. Leaving spring and then going to another school, you learn an offense over the summer.
I know you kind of you lose 3 months versus the January window and technically December window to end of April window. 4 months, really.
It's not a bad gig, though. Backup quarterback at Ohio State is not a bad gig.
And I guarantee they're throwing some money at him to be back up. Like, hey, we need you as a safety valve here.
Yeah,
Sure.
Yeah. Ryan Day said he wants to carry 5 quarterbacks.
Well, that's not going to happen.
No, he said typically he wants to have 4. He typically wants to have 4. So St. Clair, Sayan, Keenholz, and like you said, a fifth-year senior, graduate guy, kind of like a Jebbia or a what was the other guy from years ago? Yeah, Chugs. So
all right, well, let's get out of here. We gave everybody a hard hour plus, so appreciate everybody joining us. We popped up all your comments. Kind of a quiet night here in the off season, I guess, but we'll be back in a few weeks around the spring game or beforehand. We'll see if anything weird happens before then. But as far as the coaching staff goes, everything should be set in stone for this 2025 season. So, Jeff and Shawn, appreciate you.
Thank you, brother. Good to see you.
All right, guys.
All right, talk to you guys later.
Peace.
Goodbye.